Chapter 7. It had been about 3 days since I had checked my messages. I hated to check my answering service because I knew I was going to catch an earful from clients bitching about the progress of their individual cases or lack thereof. "Hey, Mace, what's up? How come you ain't called? You was supposed to tell me if that bitch was fucking around on me so I can get my divorce on without her getting half my cash. I ain't gonna pay you unless you tell me something." This message was from Troy Miller, a defensive end for the Cincinnati Bengals who wanted to get rid of his wife, a sweet little woman who worshipped Miller's sweaty jockstrap, and was as honest as the day was long. I had tailed her for weeks night and day. The 25-year-old Marguerite Miller didn't so much as look at another man. The ironic part of the case was that I knew Miller was an alley cat with groupies all over the United States, 2 of which he visited in town. It would never have occurred to Peg Miller that Troy would have her tailed any more than she would think the Super Bowl ring-wearing bastard would cheat on her. Now, Vivian Wong wanted me to prove her husband wasn't cheating on her. She wasn't nasty about it like Troy Miller. Asians, in my experience, never are. But I knew if I called her back and informed her that I had confirmed a relationship between her husband Phil and a gay attorney, it would break her heart. I had photos, voice recordings, video, and a dozen affidavits from people who had seen them together. Miss Wong owed me $2,000 that I needed very badly, but I wasn't ready to tell her what a perverted jerk Philip Wong was. "You look angry, Ronnie," commented Kim when she came into my all-stainless kitchen. "Coffee's over on the counter," I replied over my shoulder, phone jammed to my ear, legal pad in front of me, while Mr. Jim Hershey was raising hell about his missing schematics for a 60 tetra-gig memory chip he had designed. "I'm on the job," I lied. "Should wrap it up in a few days." "Mace, if you don't find those schematics by Monday, I'm dead, which means you don't get paid because dead men don't write checks. The board meets on Monday. If I don't have those designs back, they'll throw me out on my ear." "Have I ever failed you, Mr. Hershey?" I asked as I smelled bacon frying and heard cracking eggs. "No, but this is really important. This design is revolutionary." "Mr. Hershey, I understand the gravity of the situation." I had narrowed down the possible suspects on Hershey's case to 3, all of whom worked for Hershey's company System Dynamics, one of whom was also receiving a check from one of System Dynamics' arch rivals. Kim stuck a plate of eggs and bacon in front of me. Without thinking about it, I started stuffing my mouth with food, realizing as I did that I hadn't eaten since yesterday morning at Kim's place. "Are you eating, Mace?" Hershey queried peevishly. "Yes, sir, sorry about that, but every now and then I do require sustenance." "God damn it, Mace, this is important." Kim turned on the Bose Wave CD player on the counter, then refilled my coffee cup as Acoustic Alchemy's Mr. Chow floated out of the speakers. I glanced up at her to thank her for the coffee and gaped. Kim was dressed in a pair of shorts and a white St. Augustine t-shirt and no bra. I could see huge nipples rimmed under the thin cotton of the shirt. Her hair, sleep-tossed around her head, spilled to her shoulders in an impossibly dark, wavy waterfall that glistened softly in the morning sun. "Oh my God, how the Lord has blessed thee," I thought, as the body sent inappropriate signals down south. "Titties, titties. Mace, look at them, big titties, milk melons. Mace, and those big-ass nipples. It's milk melons, 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 milk melons, Mace. Look at him swing." Oh boy, I must have stared way too long at my sweetheart, because Kim glanced down at her chest, where my eyes had been focused, blushed furiously, and left the kitchen like a spooked deer on those ballerina legs of hers in a blink of an eye. "I'll get back with you on Monday, Mr. Hershey," I mumbled, drooling into the phone, a woody in my pants. Hershey was saying something or other, but eroticism had completely overrode my senses, giving truth to my ex-wife Carol's sardonic statement that men thought with their dicks. I couldn't have formed a rational sentence if I had wanted to. Kim reappeared 5 minutes later, dressed in a starched white short-sleeved blouse, tailored jeans with scalpel-sharp creases, and Timberlane hiking boots. Her wonderful melons were no longer swaying succulently. She had her bra on. Kim, the Jesuit schoolteacher, wasn't even showing any cleavage. Every button was button. The Oxford shirt was custom fitted to accommodate Kim's bosom, so there wasn't even the smallest gap between the buttons. Damn, you changed clothes, I said lamely. I was in the stuff I wear to bed. I looked a mess. This seemed more appropriate. Well, maybe for you, but I love the t-shirt and short shorts. Reminds me of the old days with Drexel Fuller, the varsity tight end. Kim really blushed with that comment. She was turning the red of the carriage in a Chagall print I had on the wall, the flying carriage. Must be a whole lot of overseer in this cutie's family tree, I mused. I'm never going to live that thing with Drexel down, am I? She asked quietly. Did you actually do it with him? I asked, then added hastily. Not that it's any of my business, but I was always curious. Did you do it? That wasn't exactly true. Wanting to know, I mean. Seeing her go into the locker room with Drexel had actually broken my heart. Kim pinned her eyes to the Chagall. I didn't expect her to answer. I expected her to tell me it really wasn't any of my business because it wasn't. She surprised me. No, I didn't have sex with him. I did go into the locker room with him, but I think you already knew that. Kim turned to face me. We messed around some, but we never did it. He told everybody we did that I did things with him that I didn't do with anybody until I was in college, but nothing important happened. I guess I just got scared. I nodded. First time, Kim? Kim shook her head, blushing again. I lost my virginity when I was 15, Ronnie, a teacher's assistant at the University of Cincinnati while I was taking general physics. I just felt that Drexel wanted to do it with me so he could brag to everybody that he had screwed the head cheerleader. I don't know why I didn't just call it off before I went in there. He did exactly what I thought he would do anyway. Kim, I'm sorry I brought it up. I'll never bring it up again. She turned away and traced a pattern on the countertop. Ever want to go back? Ronnie, rewrite the past? Warn the person you were then? Tell her that she was doing something that would change her life irrevocably? I nodded my head. Who hasn't? But that doesn't mean that because you made a mistake or two, that you throw out everything good and bad from your past, Kim. I can't tell you how much I admire all you've accomplished since high school, but man, you were a goddess back then. It's okay to let a little of the old Kim out every now and again. I swear I won't tell anybody I've seen you without a bra on in private, Dr. Parker. That comment made her laugh. I mean, I promise I'll take it to the grave with me. I want you to run around my house, brayless as much you want, anytime you want. My lips will be sealed. They couldn't get me to talk, even if they tortured me. Kim's smile got me hard. There was a touch of mystery to it, as if she knew something I didn't. I'll remember that, Ronnie Mace, she giggled. So why don't you go take it off for me? I suggested. Maybe some other time, Ronnie, Kim replied, still smiling easily, as she sat at stainless steel counter with her legs crossed. And since we are talking about the past and bras, what did you do with the one you stole from my locker? I went half the day with my breasts bouncing all over the place under my sweater like water balloons, especially running upstairs. Even then, I was way too big up top for a girl my size, and it's almost impossible to find a 32DD bra. Fringe benefit, I croaked, feeling my ears beginning to burn. I guess you never get too old to get embarrassed. You knew about that? That it was me? Kim nodded her head. Sitting at my counter, she looked like the school teacher she was, one who was in total control. I felt like a student hauled up in front the class to present a project that I had totally fucked up. I mean, every guy in the school would probably have wanted to grab your bra, but not many of them could have done it without leaving a sign of forced entry. Only the spy. The spy? Ah, shit, talk about something you wanted to live down? That nickname. A nickname like your melons, Parker. I never called you that to your face, Kim. I gritted, feeling my face really heat up. And I never called you spy, Kim replied lightly. But let's not get off point. You asked me how I knew it was you? The door to the girls' locker room was locked when we left due to previous panty raids, and I had a Medco padlock on my locker. The door and my lock were still secured when I came back from swimming my laps after swim class. Nothing else was missing. Everything was exactly where I had put it. You could have taken a micrometer to the positions of my things before and after, and I honestly believe you wouldn't have been able to tell anything had been moved. Nothing else was missing either. Drexel would have taken my panties too, and probably tied them on the antennae of his Firebird. The other boys wouldn't have been much better, and none of them would have had the skills to pick two good locks, plus they all would have made a mess of my things. You are the neatest male I have ever met besides my father. I can tell by the way you keep your house and your office that you haven't changed. It's as if, like then, you don't want people to know you've been somewhere. Aw, man. I winced, closing my eyes against the acute shame of being outed. Oh, don't be embarrassed, Ronnie. I didn't tell on you. In a kinky sort of way, I thought it was kind of sweet that you liked me that much to go through so much trouble. I thought maybe someday if I got famous, I would look you up and autograph it so you could sell it for $1 million or something. Now I feel like a real idiot. How come nobody ever knew how smart you are? Should have paid more attention to the books I had in my locker rather than my undies, Ronnie. So what did you do with my bra? I couldn't answer for a while. I mean, how do you tell somebody, particularly a nice girl, that you've been hauling their underwear around for 10 years in a rucksack from the Persian Gulf through Afghanistan, with hundreds of covert ops in between, in 128 countries all over the world? Well, Dr. Parker, let's just say your bra has seen a lot of the world. Kim burst into a fit of giggling. The sound of her giggling was like late spring sunshine, moonlight, Saturday morning cartoons with a big bowl of Kellogg's Fruit Loops, the last day of school before summer vacation, homemade peach shortcake, and Steve Forbert's Romeo's Song all at the same time. Oh my God, Ronnie, you are kidding me. What did you tell the other soldiers? What else could I say? I told them that you were my fiancé, the ultimate in delusional thinking, huh? I expected her to keep giggling, but instead she stopped and looked at me for long moments. I couldn't read the expression on her face. Ronnie, I really didn't know you liked me that much. Maybe if I had. Her soft voice trailed off and she turned away from my eyes and looked at the Chagall before continuing. You should have said something, Ronnie. All you did was follow me around. I always thought that someday you would just say hello. Tried to work up the nerve, Kim, honest. I kept saying one day I would stop being such a punk and lay my cards on the table. Stop being. I didn't want to tell her everything, but Kim had told me about Drexel even though it mortified her. Could I show less courage now? I said one day I would stop being afraid of you and what you might say if I asked you to a movie. It was my turn to look away, and I didn't do that as a general rule, but I felt like I was 16 again, the kid with the second-hand clothes from the projects. Kim, you were so popular, everybody liked you, even other girls, and then after you started dating Drexel, then Larry Stewart, that rich kid, I knew I had no chance, not up against them. I thought you would laugh at me and tell everybody I tried to talk to you. Kim was about to say something, and the look on her face was something I couldn't bear. Pity. Please, don't say you're sorry. You didn't do anything you are not responsible for, my being too much of a coward to say something. I've done okay for myself, and I don't have that problem with talking anymore. And even if I did, it wouldn't be relevant for what we have to deal with today. Somebody is trying to take you out, and I have no clue as to who it is or why they want to kill you. I also can't for the life of me figure out how a Westinghouse scholar with a membership in Mensa and a PhD in nuclear physics from Caltech could get herself involved with a bunch of knuckle-dragging button men from Vegas. What would the mob want with you, and where do porn movies fit into all this? None of this makes any sense. You are too smart to have gotten yourself mixed up with something this screwed up. The look of calm confidence vanished from Kim's face to be replaced by that strange trapped look. You wouldn't believe me if I told you. I can't believe it myself, and it's happened to me. So at last we were getting down to business. What wouldn't I believe? That you have a split personality? Brilliant academic by day? Porn star at night? Yeah, that is a little hard to believe. I wasn't really a porn star, Ronnie. As far as I know, I only did 4 films. Kim whispered, her face almost white. I had never realized before how light her complexion was. Definitely a whole lot of overseer back in Kim's bloodline, but that was beside the point, and her stating that as far as she knew she had only done 4 films like she couldn't remember was completely off the hook. "What do you mean as far as you know you only did 4?" I yelled. I shouldn't have yelled, but I was frustrated. Kim opened her mouth as if to speak, then stopped, closed her eyes tightly like she suddenly had gotten a headache, and then stood up. "I should be going. I'll get my things and find a hotel." "What game are you playing at here, Dr. Parker? What's going on?" She tried to get past me, but I blocked her way and grabbed her shoulders. Kim tried to get away from me, but as I said, she only weighed about 110 pounds. As strong as she was, I handled her struggles easily. If I was thinking, I would have remembered that the last guy who had tried to force her to do something had ended up dead when Kim shattered his skull with a hammer. "Don't hurt me, Ronnie. Please don't hurt me. I'll do whatever you want me to. I'll be good. Just don't hurt me." I stopped dead and immediately released her, as if Kim had burned my hands. Kim turned and fled screaming down the hall and up the stairs. Her scream of terror took the strength right out of me. That she could have thought that I could actually hurt her in any way was more than I could bear. I had never struck a woman in my life, or any person, unless it was in self-defense. I could hear her upstairs gathering her stuff. I couldn't move. I could barely breathe. Down the stairs, she came heading for the door, sobbing. I caused this. I made her cry. I thought, "Kim, I just want to help you. That's all I want. Please believe me, I'm confused. I'm not certain how to proceed. I wasn't going to hurt you, Kim. I could never do that. I would cut off my hands before I would do that, or put a bullet through my own head." He said the same thing, Kim said, her back turned to me, voice thick with tears. He said, "Kimberly, you know I would never hurt you. The next thing I know, I'm alone back in Cincinnati, and I can't remember 3 weeks of my life. For almost a month, I couldn't tell you for certain where I was born or what my name was. For 2 months after I got back, I couldn't recall how to do simple arithmetic, addition, and subtraction, and I never made mistakes in math. Never. I've had straight A's all my life. I don't remember making those films, Ronnie. I see the woman in those films, and she looks like me. Her voice sounds like mine, but it isn't me. It's not me. And yet it must be me. It has to be me, which means I'm insane. Oh God, I'm insane. A sane person would remember doing such things, and I don't, Ronnie. There are 3 weeks of my life that I don't remember anything at all." I reached for her shoulder, wanting to hold her. Kim spun around and threw my Glock Model 30 in my face. The look of terror in her face was beyond anything I had ever seen, including in the middle of hellacious firefights, where my men and I didn't know if we were going to live through the next second or two. "Don't try to hurt me, Ronnie. Don't you try it." Her voice, normally so melodious, was high and thin. Her face, pale perspiration ran down it in beads, and her eyes were huge dark holes. Kim was terror transmogrified. This was the face Voxio hadn't seen. I could have taken the gun from her, but to do it, I might have hurt her. I would rather have taken the bullet, so I put my hands up and stepped back to avoid triggering Kim's survival instinct. "I don't remember the films, Ronnie. I don't. I know you don't believe me, but I swear it's true. I'm not like that. My friend promised that nobody would find out about them. He said I could just go away and start again. Kim, I just want to help you. That's all I want. Please believe me, I'm confused. I'm not certain how to proceed. I wasn't going to hurt you, Kim. I could never do that. I would cut off my hands before I would do that, or put a bullet through my own head." He said the same thing, Kim said, her back turned to me, voice thick with tears. He said, "Kimberly, you know I would never hurt you. The next thing I know, I'm alone back in Cincinnati, and I can't remember 3 weeks of my life. For almost a month, I couldn't tell you for certain where I was born or what my name was. For 2 months after I got back, I couldn't recall how to do simple arithmetic, addition, and subtraction, and I never made mistakes in math. Never. I've had straight A's all my life. I don't remember making those films, Ronnie. I see the woman in those films, and she looks like me. Her voice sounds like mine, but it isn't me. It's not me. And yet it must be me. It has to be me, which means I'm insane. Oh God, I'm insane. A sane person would remember doing such things, and I don't, Ronnie. There are 3 weeks of my life that I don't remember anything at all. I reached for her shoulder, wanting to hold her. Kim spun around and threw my Glock Model 30 in my face. The look of terror in her face was beyond anything I had ever seen, including in the middle of hellacious firefights, where my men and I didn't know if we were going to live through the next second or two. Don't try to hurt me, Ronnie. Don't you try it. Her voice, normally so melodious, was high and thin. Her face, pale perspiration ran down it in beads, and her eyes were huge dark holes. Kim was terror transmogrified. This was the face Vaxio hadn't seen. I believe you, Kim. I stepped toward her, and the gun was on my forehead. I looked into her eyes. You have to trust me, Kim. I don't remember the films, Ronnie. I don't. I know you don't believe me, but I swear it's true. I'm not like that. My friend promised that nobody would find out about them. He said I could just go away and start again. I believe you, Kim. Just trust me. Keep the gun if it makes you feel safe, but trust me. I held her eyes, feeling the big bore of Gaston Glock's mini cannon on my cranium. A hell of a note, surviving countless firefights in armpits all over the world, from the streets of New York to the jungles of Bolivia, and I was about to be killed by the only woman I had ever loved. Yet, there comes a time when you have to trust the innate goodness in a person. I had to believe up to the very end that if I didn't give Kim a reason to kill me, she wouldn't be able to do it anymore, then I would be able to hurt her, even to protect my own life. Don't let it end this way. Whatever's going on together, we can figure it out. I'm on your side, honey. I'm with you, Kim. Slowly, Kim, blinking the tears out of her eyes, withdrew the weapon from my head, then turned it butt first and handed it to me. I shouldn't have this, should I, Ronnie? She said. It was about then that somebody's size 14 kicked in my 100-year-old hand-carved walnut and leaded glass door. In what seemed like a split second later, the entryway was filled with 2 shooters in black BDUs armed with HK MP5s. Ridiculous, I thought as I swept Kim to the floor. This is getting goddamn ridiculous. There is a dubious advantage to having people enthusiastically trying to put you in a body bag and living to tell about it. Over the years, my reaction time had gone from seconds to about as quick as it takes a thought to jump from one synapse to another in your garden variety Homo sapiens. Still, it was just plain dumb luck. If you call almost being blown away by a cute little schoolteacher luck, that I had a gun in my hand when the shooters did a dynamic entry into my place. None of us expected to find an armed adversary standing there, but I recovered the fastest from the shock. Strange men with automatic weapons appear in the doorway of your house? Kill 'em. I lined up the Glock's tritium front sight on the first thug's nose and pressed the trigger, compensated for the recoil, swept past the first head, and shot the second bad guy. They went down in an untidy heap, then somebody pitched in a grenade. Jesus, what was this? I thought, even as I dove on top of Kim's body, closed my eyes, and rolled with her into the parlor to the left of the foyer. The grenade blew with a deafening whomp, and the concussion hammered us with a flash. I saw even through my closed eyelids, but we didn't catch any of the shrapnel. A shooter followed the grenade, and ears ringing, but otherwise unhurt, I put a 230-grain spear gold dot in his face. Grenades with no shrapnel. M84. Flashbangs. Distraction devices. These were SWAT Team SEALs, U.S. Marine Raiders, or U.S. Army Detachment Delta, my old unit. A burst of auto weapons fire chewed up the hardwood floor where my head had been a split second before, and I got a fleeting image of a guy diving through my kitchen door. Building takedowns straight out of the textbook, I realized. 2 teams coming in front and rear with overwhelming force. Their timing had been off just by a second, and I had been armed when the front entry team had breached. Just luck. Oh, Jesus, what are these guys, cops, feds, sweet Jesus? What has Kim gotten into? All of these thoughts were racing through my mind as I got a couch between Klim, myself, and the wide entrance of my parlor, wishing I had the time to close the heavy oak pocket doors that led to the room. Mace, give it up. We got you outnumbered 10-1, and I've radioed a 60-man QRF. They will be here in a few minutes. We just want the girl. It was one of the shooters calling from the kitchen. Who the fuck are you? I shouted back. Somebody you don't want to fuck with, Sergeant Mace. Lady's got something we want. Send her out and we'll fall back. I could hear at least 3 pairs of boots on the antique oak flooring of the hall, leading from the kitchen to the parlor, moving oh so quietly. They were coming for us. The guy was talking to cover their approach. I don't know what you are talking about, Kim screamed in terror, pale as a shade. Why don't you leave us alone? Dr. Parker, it's going to be a whole lot easier on everybody if you just come on out. You are already responsible for people being killed. Nobody else needs to get hurt. Come on out and we'll let Mace live. Keep resisting. We'll kill him and get you anyway. Kim looked at me, her eyes bleak and hopeless. Then she gave a little shrug and tried to stand up. I grabbed her and shoved her down. Not on my watch, Kim. No, ain't nobody going anywhere, motherfucker. You're in my house. I yelled. My advice to you is that you and your boys roll the fuck up out of here right now before I really get pissed. I will waste all of you motherfuckers. You don't need this kind of trouble, Mace, the guy warned. He's right. My body yelled at my mind via my adrenal glands, my bladder, and my sphincter. Save us. I saw a hand with another grenade in it dart around the corner. I put a bullet through the wrist, and the M84 flashbang flew down the hall into their midst. Oh shit! Somebody wailed. The grenade detonated with a blinding whoomp. You're dead, Mace, you motherfucker! You're dead! Not just yet, motherfucker, I thought, as I grabbed Kim's hand and darted into the hallway. Not just yet. There were 3 of them. 2 were out of it, rolling around in agony. The third guy got off a burst from the floor. I felt a searing pain in my left shoulder as I swept Kim to the deck and fired a pair of hammers into the shooter. The first double tap to center mass had no effect. The SWAT teamer was wearing rifle-rated body armor. The .45 caliber slugs just ripped holes in the outer layer of Kevlar before spalling on the 1/2-inch steel insert of his interceptor vest. It was the second double tap that got the job done. Both rounds drilled in just under the brim of his Kevlar helmet and blew his head in. Shot! I've been shot, I thought calmly as my left arm started to turn red. I finished the other 2 shooters with 2 headshots and stalked toward the door, keeping my body between Kim and the threat. She was clutching at my jacket, weeping. I'm sorry, Ronnie. Stop that crying shit, Kim, I yelled. There are 2 platoons of these fuckers on the way. We cannot stay here. They'll overrun us, and then we're both dead. We've got to get out of here. I jumped over the bodies at the front door and grabbed an MP5 subgun lying next to a body. Then I low-crawled to my entry to get a peek. There were 2 navigators in blocking positions at both ends of my U-shaped drive. 2 shooters were behind the vehicle's engine blocks, using them for cover, armed with submachine guns. Suddenly, the wood an inch from my nose exploded, and I heard the rolling boom of a high-powered rifle. Remington Model 700 police sniper system in .300 Winchester Magnum, shooting 180-grain slugs. My ear informed me in a microsecond, maybe 200 meters in the tree line across the road. I got my melon out of the line of fire, looked back at Kim, and told her the score. There are 2 of these jokers in blocking positions in the drive. They've also got a sniper 200 meters to our left front in the tree line. And he's good, maybe not as good as me, but good enough. Missed by the grace of God, his 0 is off by just a hair because of our altitude or temp. Now listen to me very carefully. I'm going out the door to the right on the count of 3. They'll all be shooting at me, I'm going to go for that big ceramic planter with the summer phloxes in it, and from there I'll take out the guy in the leftmost vehicle. When I yell clear, you run as fast as you can, get in that vehicle and drive. Go as fast as you can to the nearest police station and don't look back. I'll cover you as long as I can. Do you understand me? Dr. Parker, do you understand? Kim shook her head violently, a sick expression on her face. No, Ronnie, no, I can't do it. I feel as if I'm going to throw up. I can't move. Yes, you can, I told her, grabbing her shoulders. Yes, you fucking can, and you will, Kim. I'm going through that goddamn door. I will reach that planter. I will take out the fucking shooter behind the vehicle to our left front. And you will reach that vehicle alive in DS. Do you understand me, Dr. Parker? Navigators in blocking positions at both ends of my U-shaped drive. 2 shooters were behind the vehicle's engine blocks, using them for cover, armed with submachine guns. Suddenly, the wood and 100 meters in the tree line across the road. I got my melon out of the line of fire, looked back at Kim, and told her the score. There are 2 of these jokers in blocking positions in the drive. They've also got a sniper 200 meters to our left front in the tree line, and he's good. Maybe not as good as me, but good enough. Missed by the grace of God, his 0 is off by just a hair because of our altitude or temp. Now listen to me very carefully. I'm going out the door to the right on the count of 3. They'll all be shooting at me. I'm going to go for that big ceramic planter with the summer phloxes in it, and from there, I'll take out the guy in the leftmost vehicle. When I yell clear, you run as fast as you can, get in that vehicle and drive. Go as fast as you can to the nearest police station and don't look back. I'll cover you as long as I can. Do you understand me? Dr. Parker, do you understand? Kim shook her head violently, a sick expression on her face. No, Ronnie, no, I can't do it. I feel as if I'm going to throw up. I can't move. Yes, you can, I told her, grabbing her shoulders. Yes, you fucking can, and you will, Kim. I'm going through that goddamn door. I will reach that planter. I will take out that shooter, and you will escape. Do you fucking understand me, Dr. Parker? Kim swallowed hard and nodded her head. All right, on 3, 1, 2, 3, moving.